say that he, maybe he's really sorry about what happened to him. He feels remorse and sorrow for Dinwiddie's family. He would talk about Dinwiddie's family and this it's totally fucked up what happened, and he feels bad about it. It really gets to him, what happened.
Right.
But he was he feels framed. He feels like he doesn't even know, he hasn't seen the evidence himself, and now he doesn't even trust the evidence that's going to come out because he thinks it's going to all be totally not true and framed, and because the evidence has been withheld for the last almost 6 years now.
Going on.
May it'll be
Yep.
6 years.
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
That makes me so mad. I'm sorry for cursing like that, and you breaking commandment. I apologize. It's total bullshit, and it makes my blood boil. What's happening to him every day?
Yeah, definitely. Now, after meeting Marvin, how long after that did he give you his entire case file?
So, yeah, after, it must have been, I don't know, a year, 6 months or a year. I don't recall exactly how long it was. But, I was asking him, look, I need some proof of this stuff. What do you have? What can you give me? We need documents. We need evidence. We need proof. And so he was like, all right, I got you. And that's when he and his brother helped me get that file. Because I told them, I was like, man, I've been making requests, and they've been denying my request. And I can't get my hands on a lot of this stuff because the state attorney general, Texas attorney general, won't give it to me. They're saying that's still there's a whole host of bullshit reasons the state will give you for not giving you a document, right?
Right.
And so they used all of them, you know what I mean? And I couldn't get my hands on a lot of this stuff because there hadn't been a trial yet, basically, and, they could basically claim that, they could hide behind the law to keep me from these documents. So Marvin and his brother helped me get a lot of those documents, okay? And I don't recall exactly when it was that they did it.
Okay.
It was definitely after several months of making document requests and failing, right?
Right. Now, what was in Marvin's case file? I mean, I know personally, but for those who are going to hear this, what was in it, and was there anything that troubled you? Any of the contents that troubled you?
So, everything was in the case file. I can't even explain it other than that, right? There was an evidence log of everything that the police had found, and there were some attorney's notes, some shorter, little brief descriptions of attorney's notes, and then there was a lot of case law that Marvin and his brother and everybody and his lawyers had included in the file, trying to understand, the framework of the law surrounding Marvin's case. But then there were a lot of police statements, and this was really the good part, I guess, the juicy stuff, as we would say in the journalism business, of Marvin's case file, right? Basically, it appeared that we had every single Killeen police officer's statement in our hands, okay? And, when you read through these statements, for the most part, everybody told the same story. Everybody was we were at the front door, it included those who were at the front door, right? And several of them were seriously injured. They took fire from the window. And they did, most likely. And I once the bullets started flying, it's anybody's guess, who got hit where and who from what gun. But basically, when you read through the statements, there are several things that caught my eye. Namely, not everybody was so sure that they had announced themselves at the door. In fact, there were more than a few officers who had flatly said they never heard anybody announce themselves at the door until somebody had a flashbang that was live and ready to go, and then the bullets started coming. They heard gunshots, and everybody opened up on the house. And I mean, it was a total total mayhem. A flashbang went off. Like, they weren't able to get the flashbang in the window before. Yeah, I mean, it was like total. Like, Marvin got the jump on him, I guess. Thought somebody was coming after him. And so, basically, the other thing that I noticed from the police statements were that one of the officers who met Marvin at the back door flatly said in his statement that he essentially, what seemed to me, stuck his pistol so far down Marvin's throat that he threw up. And so I asked Marvin about that a lot. Not a lot, but a couple of times, and he says he doesn't remember that happening. But, Marvin's a guy from the streets, right? And
right.
Those guys don't want to show any kind of weakness. So certainly not, a cop scaring you so bad that you barf all over the place. It's like, anyways, that I think that an officer who sticks his pistol in a suspect's mouth, I think that what he was, if I recall correctly, the officer stuck his pistol in Marvin's mouth and asked him, is there anybody else in the house? And probably some unkind language, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who else is in the house? Yeah. And so I don't know if that's assault or what that is. I don't know if they teach that in police academy. I'm not sure if that's a special move that they teach in the police academy. But from his statement, it really, makes it seem like that was questionable, to say the least, right?
Right.
Like, why are you sticking your pistol in a guy's mouth, and then he spits up? Anyways, the other thing that I saw was that the other female that was in the house was beat up pretty bad and had to go to the hospital. And so, I'd like to know what precipitated her having been injured pretty badly, and her having basically never heard from her. I couldn't get her to talk to me. I couldn't find her. I couldn't do any of that. I couldn't get her to talk to me. I think she left town and couldn't, wanted to get far away from what had happened.
Right. When you discovered this information, did you attempt to publish a story about it or to get the truth out to the public?
Yes, I did. And for the most part, we did a lot of reporting on it. We certainly reported on the movements of his case. We reported the basics of what had happened, right? But they did not let me report on what was in the police statements, right? They wanted me to verify the authenticity of these documents. And so I wasn't given the time to do any of that, right? They basically said, we don't want you to even try to verify these documents. We're not interested in doing this story. And I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah. So yes, I did try. I suppose the answer to that question is yes, I did try. And I was told kindly that there were other priorities in the nation and that was not going to be a priority.
Oh, now, because I read in the article, The Free Thought Project, how you were mistreated by both the Killeen Daily Herald and the police, but would you go over that some? Give some insight into that, how that all went down, what happened with them?
Well, I think that there was a lot of tension between KPD and I, simply because of the nature of how much crime there was to cover on a daily basis, and how my job really became, as a crime reporter, really became so gruesome some days and some weeks that, it made me seem like if it bleeds, it leads kind of paper. And so the police and tried to really make us out as, these vampire kind of people, right? Even though we're just covering what's happening, you know what I mean? Like, there's people getting shot all over the place some weeks, right? People dying on the roads, all over, soldiers killing themselves all the time, every day. Some